Hello, hello. Hey, gonna hang out for just a few minutes. Welcome, welcome. Hello. Let's give everybody a chance to get the notifications. I'm gonna see if I can send one out. Hey, welcome everybody. How are y'all this evening? Welcome. How is everybody? I hope you're staying warm. Good. Okay. Let me get some stuff sent out. Apparently, it's not showing up for some people, okay? Did y'all get notified? Hold on. Let me see if I can figure out how to. Good. Well, thank y'all for jumping in. Yay. There's one of our girls. I'm trying to figure out, is there a way to like send out a notification? Welcome everybody coming in. Let's give everybody just a few minutes to jump in here. I'm going to click over here real quick and see if this gives me the option to, I don't know, to send out notifications, huh? Something went wrong. Oh, I can't be taking drinks of water like that, can I? I forgot this microphone's right here by my mouth. I'm gonna try not to yell. I'm not gonna be able to hear myself tonight. So I might have to remind me. Let's see. It might take a few minutes for all the notifications to go out. Oh, I know what I need to do. That. Funeral home music. I was just trying to make it soothing music. Is it too soothing? I'll turn it down in just a minute. All right, I don't think people are getting our notifications, y'all. Either that or there's just too much good stuff going on. Hey, hey. Hold on. Um, hmm. I don't know what's. So, are some people are saying they can't talk in here? Yeah, you're gonna have to, I think, use our link for a little while. Like, I don't know. Were you already subscribed? It's not gonna come up until we get some more subscribers. Did you like try clicking on our link that we already have, Faith? This is weird. Great. Okay, I know what. Hold on, I have an idea. Um, Let me do something real quick. Fixing to share us. All right, let's try that. Let's see if people get that. I just posted in our lifetime Facebook page. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. Yeah, y'all have to. I just got back in here. Hold on. I can't do that until we actually have a live and people comment. Hey, oh, holler girl, I'm so sorry. Hey, looks like it's kind of going out now. All right, real quick before we get moving, everybody back out a little bit. Go ahead and make sure you're subscribed and click the bell and go up to all on your notifications to turn all notifications on. Yeah, I'm fixing to have to take some Excedrin myself. Oh, girl, you need to be resting. Hmm. Hmm. I hate that everybody's feeling so crummy. All right, I shared it, so we'll give everybody just a few more minutes. And then we'll get started. Yay. Yeah, I know. Eating sucks when you've got that stuff. Well, hello, Faith. Welcome. Hello, hello. Good evening. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, let me close these out. Open this back up. Okay. Let me get this moved over. Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is Crime Time with Harley, and I am your hostess with the mostest, Harley. Tonight, I have a story that some of you may remember. We're going to be talking about a 21-year-old British woman. Oh, hold on, this is not pulling up. Let me get this pulled up. Sorry, y'all. Window. All right. So I know a lot of y'all know about Amanda Knox. A lot of people still ask, did Amanda Knox do it? My opinion, no, she didn't. But tonight we're going to approach this from a different view. And this is 6 years, almost 7 years after the Italian courts gave her an unequivocal exoneration. But I don't think you know the real story, just the one the media has given you. But to get to the real truth, you have to wade through a sea of headlines and wild accusations that are still, all these years later, a distraction for what really happened. This is the story of the murdered Meredith Kercher, who you see, hold on, in our image right here. Now, Meredith Kercher and Amanda Knox were Italian exchange students that shared an apartment. And Meredith was brutally murdered in her apartment. Everyone's world was turned upside down. And for the woman who found herself in the center of the storm and on trial for murder, it has stayed that way ever since. My question is, why, all these years later, long after the courts have spoken, are we still talking about Amanda Knox? So we're going to look at the story from a different view. Hold on. My next pictures won't load now. It's late morning on November 2nd, 2007. And one of the roommates get a phone call from Amanda, who sounds very scared. Something seemed off when she got home. The door had not been open, not wide open, just a little bit. One of the toilets had not been flushed. There was a few droplets of blood. Amanda says that she had left the apartment on the way back to her boyfriend's place. Hold on, I've got to move this around. I'm sorry. This is really bothering me. I thought I had these pictures pulled up where I could, they're not letting me now. Right before I came live, my laptop crashed and I had to reboot it really fast. Give me just a second. Okay. There we go. I'm not going to be able to read everything, guys, okay? So Amanda said she had left the apartment and she was just looking for an explanation for what she had found, right? And the other roommate that she had called, she was just looking for her to, hoping that she had an explanation. But the other roommate didn't have any kind of explanation because she had spent the night at her boyfriend's house and hadn't even been home. She knew their other roommate was in Rome on business, so she suggested calling their other roommate, Meredith. But what she really wanted Amanda to do was go back to the apartment and see if anything was stolen. Amanda had said she was on her way to her boyfriend's house and she would see if her boyfriend would come back with her and then she would call her back. So after a little while, the roommate still hadn't gotten a call back from Amanda. So she gives up waiting and calls back herself. When Amanda finally answers, she had just finished breakfast and they were finished to head back over there. So she says that she'll call when they get there. Not long after, Amanda calls back and says that one of the windows had been smashed open or smashed in, so that the apartment had clearly been broken into and they had already called for the police to come. But Amanda said she took a quick look around and only one of the rooms looked like it had been disturbed, but it didn't look like anything had been missing. So the other roommate decides to turn around and come back and meet her, right? She also calls her boyfriend and asks him to meet them all there. And so they all get there, and he brings he brings another friend with him, and some police officers arrive at the time. So they all run in, and she finds that her room had been completely ransacked, but that was the only room that had really been touched. Like everything had been destroyed in her room. The window had been busted open. Her clothes were tossed everywhere. It was just destroyed. But that was it. And there was nothing missing. Nothing missing in the rest of the house. The computer wasn't even gone. Amanda's room looked just like it did when she left. Their roommate that was out of town looked fine. The only room that they couldn't check was Meredith's because her door was locked. But that was strange because they know that Meredith never locked her door. The only time she locked her door was maybe when she was, changing or whatever. So it's off to them. Excuse me. But what's even more odd to them is the police officers that had arrived about the same time they did, there were two of them, they had Meredith's cell phones, two cell phones. One was her British cell phone, and one was a cell phone, an Italian cell phone that the other roommate had let her borrow. So those two officers that arrived actually were not the police officers that were responding to the original phone call that the other roommate had made. Um, they had just happened to show up at the same time. They were on their way there. Our phones had been found in someone else's back garden earlier that morning, and they found out who the phones belonged to. So these two police officers were coming at the same time to just return the phones. So they're all standing there looking at each other, trying to figure out what's going on. And those officers say, well, if y'all are saying that there's actually nothing missing from the house, then we're just going to go file a report for these phones. Well, the other roommate that's there says, well, hold on just a minute. Her door is locked. Our house has been broken into, and y'all are just going to leave us here? They just didn't feel right about this. And the other roommate, just something told her they needed to get into Meredith's room, right? But and that they were going to have to break in. But the officers that were there said that they couldn't do that because they weren't the right people for that job. And according to Amanda Knox's book, these police officers were from the postal department. They weren't like patrol officers. Postal crimes. That's why they were bringing the phones in. So they said that they couldn't do that. So the other roommate looks at her boyfriend and says, you can kick the door in. So he lifts his foot up, and it takes him 3 tries to kick the door before it finally gives in, and the door flies open. So when the boyfriend gets the door open, they all notice that he just turns white, and he yells "Sangwe," which means blood. And everybody realizes what they're saying. They look in, and there is blood everywhere and streaks. Meredith's duvet is on the floor next to her bed, and sticking out from underneath it is a foot. The officers on the scene quickly get everybody outside of the apartment and call for the homicide squad, who find Meredith's body underneath the duvet and naked from the waist down. Yeah, she was 21. There was a large knife wound just under her chin, and several smaller wounds on her neck. And her whole body is covered in blood. There's blood smeared walls, the bookshelf, the door handles. There's just blood everywhere. Harley does not do makeup. No, Harley does not do makeup. There's blood splattered everywhere, which probably from Meredith coughing and choking on blood, and it's spewing across the room. There's towels under her body covered in blood. It's just everywhere. There's blood everywhere. Her purse is there, but her purse is missing her keys and her wallet. But that's the only thing that's missing. They did find a bloody footprint in her bathroom, a bare footprint in her bathroom. Okay? So we have a broken window in the other roommate's room. Nothing's missing except the wallet and keys and the cell phones, but the cell phones have been returned because they were in somebody's backyard. Um, it's 2007. Um, so really, other than the one roommate's room being destroyed, and yeah, it was 2007, and then the room that Meredith was in, where she was actually deceased. Nothing of substance was removed from the house. That was it. Okay. So now they need to figure out who. The wounds in her neck, um, she did have those knife wounds, but there was some bruising on her head and arms, like defensive wounds on her hands and arms, bruising on other parts of her body, like she struggled. So her time of death was estimated to be about 10 p.m. on Thursday. I think it was November the 4th. Let me. November 1st, sorry. Okay. So her time of death, they're saying around 10 p.m. on Thursday, November 1st. And she was 21 years old, yes. And yes, it was in 2007. Okay, I'm going to try and take small breaks to answer a few questions. Hello to everybody that's joining us. We're just now getting into it. All right. So, as far as the way the body was found, I have found some kind of conflicting sources about the possible sexual assault of her. Some says there was evidence, and then some sources say that there was not. So I've not been able to find specific, where anybody has reported yes or no on that. But she was unclothed from the waist down. They did find male DNA inside of her, and it wasn't from anyone that she was known to have been in a relationship with. Okay. But it was not semen, it was skin cells as far as the DNA goes. So, I mean, she was an exchange student, 21 years old. You know how it is when you're that age and that time of your life. So, there's no way that they could, confirm or whatever that what her lifestyle was just before this happened. So, because of that, they could not, they were unable to confirm, you know, if that had happened. Oh, apologies for what? Oh, Y'all are silly. Okay, so they were able to collect a ton of other evidence from the scene. Um, they actually got nearly 200 samples of DNA evidence from the crime scene, but that would be between everybody. Um, they do have unknown fingerprints and palm prints as well, from like the pillow that was under her hips, off of her body, different places in the apartment. But the key locations would be items that were around her, close to her, touching her. Um, they had found a match for some of the unknown fingerprints. Yeah, I know, right? That's crazy. Um, Hold on, let me let him down here. I knew this was going to happen, y'all. This is our commercial break, I guess. Oh, please. Ooh, that cold front it just plummeted out there. All right. Hello, everybody. All right. Let me see where I was. So there was, yes, 200 different items of DNA. Okay. So the prints that they found, let me. I've got that on the other. So the prints that they found that they were able to, oh my goodness, Stormy, that they were able to identify belonged to 20-year-old Rudy Guede. I might be saying that wrong. Guede. His fingerprints were on file in Italy because the government keeps prints on file to all immigrant for all immigrants coming into the country, including him, who arrived at age 6 from the Ivory Coast of Africa. Rudy. He didn't have a criminal record, but he had been investigated a few times by police, not by anything violent. He had a history of break-ins and theft. And actually, just a few weeks before Meredith's death, he had been caught breaking into a nursery school. She was. So they caught him with a few other items. That when they caught him breaking into the school, he had a backpack, and in that backpack were some other stolen items that had recently been stolen from a couple other break-ins, a law office, I think it was. A laptop, a watch. I don't. But he also, when he was caught in the nursery school, he also had a knife and a hammer in his possession. So, I mean, but again, prior to that, he did not have any violent convictions or violent crime. So, okay, and another thing that I left out at the beginning is the window that was broken into of the girl's apartment was on the second story of the house. So, oh yeah, absolutely. So that was like 12 feet off the ground. So, not just anybody's going to be able to scale up the side of an apartment and bust in a window 12 feet off the ground, right? Like, my fluffy butt couldn't. Hold on. Nitro is talking to us. Come on. Come on, Thea. Are you done? Come on. Y'all can't, can you? I'm so sorry, y'all. I wanted to be way more prepared than this. Um, I'm just, my shit's not together. My stuff. Oops. My stuff. No, nitro. Yes, anyway. But okay, so the whole window being on the second story, Rudy has had been known to do that on previous break-ins. He had been known to scale buildings and break in the second story windows before. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. Thank you, Stormy. And apparently, Rudy and Meredith knew each other. So there's another thing to keep in mind. Not very well, but according to a Vanity Fair article, they hung out together a few times in the apartment below Amanda and Meredith's with the guys that live down there and would smoke, that stuff together, like as a group. So they knew each other from, mutual friends or whatever. And they had met like a month before she was murdered, but just by common, yeah. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. They have Rudy. We have Rudy that his MO for other break-ins is climbing into second story windows and rummaging through things for thefts. I mean, he was just a common thief apparently, and his fingerprints, his palm print actually was found in Meredith's room. Okay, they had just met each other within a month before her murder, and he also was recently arrested not very far from there. So we've got all of that. Okay, so we're going to keep all that in mind. I mean, you would think that would be a no-brainer for an arrest, but he's nowhere to be found. He had been seen in a nightclub in the early morning hours of November 2nd, just after. But after that, he just vanished. But investigators had an idea of how to find him. They went to a friend of his named Jacques or Giacomo and asked him to come to the police station and see if he could get a hold of Rudy from there. So on November 17th, Giacomo reaches out to Rudy from the police station by Skype, and they got lucky because Rudy took the bait and told his friend that he knows that they're looking for him, which is why he fled to Germany. So Rudy is now in Germany with nowhere to live and no money, and he's terrified. He knows the police found his fingerprints and insists that if that's true, they were left there before the murder. In blood, by the way. His fingerprints were in blood in the apartment, okay? I think I left that out. One of his handprints was in blood in the wall. Um, Thank you. So, Rudy's Rudy's depiction of everything kind of starts to shape up here, and it changes a few times. Um, he says that him and Meredith met the night before the murder on Halloween, and they got talking and hit it off. And according to a transcript of a call I found, Rudy says they made a plan to meet up the next night, November 1st. He said she told him she already had plans with her friends, but that she would bail early so that they could meet up at her place and essentially hook up. And he says they did, or sort of did. Rudy says they did hook up for a little while, but stopped short of intercourse because neither of them had a condom. At this point, Rudy told Giacomo that the food he had on his way to Meredith's started to cause stomach issues for him. Bad. And he needed to use the restroom. And he was in there for a long time. And while he was in there, he heard the doorbell ring. And he didn't think anything about it because he thought it might be one of her roommates. And that while he was in there, he heard a blood curdling scream. And he jumped out of the bathroom. And it was dark in the hallway. But that he saw a man holding a knife. He saw Meredith and blood everywhere. And oh, Faith, that there was a struggle between him and the guy. Um, let me find the transcript. Hold on. Um, Hold on just a second. Let me find that transcript real quick. I think this will be easier. Transcript. I had it pulled up. Um, There's the timeline. Okay. Um, he says, I've got wounds on my hands because I grabbed his hands. He grabbed at me. This was translated from Italian also. Faith, why are you outside? Um, so he claims that the other guy tried to stab him and he tried to fight him, but he has wounds on his hands now, and that he tried to help Meredith. Um, and so then he says he doesn't know if any of the blood was his. I'm just kind of shortening it up because it's um, that he didn't think he bled any, that all the blood was hers, and that he did try to help Meredith, but that if his prints are in the house, that it's obvious because he touched everything while fighting, supposedly fighting the other guy. I, but that his prints are going to be everywhere. So he just had a weird explanation that, but then he goes on to say that the man attacked Meredith, ran away. So that Rudy says he gathered up towels to try and help stop her bleeding. Yeah. Yeah. So that then he says he's is in the middle of this crime scene, drenched in blood, and that he calls for help. Or that he he knew if he called for help that the police were going to walk in and see a black guy covered in blood and think for sure that he did it. But he tells Giacomo that he did not do it. That's why in the end he said he ran. Um, so then he says, his first instinct was to call for help, but he did not have a phone to call for help. Um, but then what doesn't make a lot of sense either is that he says the doorbell rang. He was in the bathroom, remember, and he says the doorbell rang, and then there was some screaming. But the window was broken. The second story bedroom window was broken in with a rock. That's not quite adding up, is it? So, hold on, I need a drink. So the police are obviously not buying his story. So the next day, after he calls, they issue an international warrant for his arrest. Yeah. I believe it was November the 20th. So he was stopped by authorities trying to board a train to Frankfurt without a ticket. And they run his ID and arrest him right there. It takes some time to get him from Germany to Italy. December the 6th, I believe. December the 6th. So he's not charged with anything at this point. And we got to remember, the Italian system is a lot different from ours in the U.S. And I'm sure the Canadian system, it's all different. So just remember that. If you are suspected of a crime, you can be held for up to 8 years. 8. While they get all their ducks in a row to decide to charge you or not. Oh, goodness. Just remember, like, here in the U.S., they have like 48 hours for you to have your 72 hours for your first appearance. I mean, like, they can't just hold you without charging you here in the U.S. Over there, they can put you in jail and hold you for up to 8 years while they figure out or decide if they're going to charge you with anything or not. Like, how messed up is that? Y'all are funny. So anyway, that's just the first surprise, okay? So July of 2008, 7 months after his arrest in Germany, they finally charge him in connection with Meredith's murder. 2 months later, his defense team requests what's called a fast track trial, where a judge looks at the evidence collected and makes a determination about, whether they're guilty or innocent. Like, literally, over there, I mean, it's called a fast track trial, and a judge just looks at it and says, yes, no. Wow. No jury, nothing. Okay. It's It's literally an immediate decision by what has been presented to the court. I think I'm fixing to have to turn a heater on. Faith just made me cold. Um, and usually they get a reduced sentence with the fast track. Um, so they're still saying that he had nothing, Rudy had nothing to do with the murder. Um, just happened to be sitting in the bathroom when some random person broke in and killed Meredith. Um, but obviously, the evidence against him is overwhelming. He admitted to being in the room with Meredith when she lay there dying. He fled the country. Um, there were the his handprint that was on the pillow that was underneath her. The skin cells that were found inside her were found to belong to him. There's a lot of twists and turns to this, y'all. Okay. The shoe print, the footprint, shoe print that was left in blood in the scene was found to be his. There's so much adding up that is his. Your phone, baby. Um, let me tell you what I found. There some experts on criminals, and because he admitted or he said that due to some food that he was in the bathroom when the person supposedly broke in or came to the door, whatever. But one of the things that I found is some experts that say it's actually not uncommon for criminals to get an upset stomach in the process of them committing their crimes. Who knew? Like, somebody going to break into your house and just need to take a poop in your toilet? It's not the first time that that's happened, apparently. Like their nerves or stress or something during committing a crime that they need to poop. And that people actually stop and use people's bathrooms while they're doing their crimes. Anyway, just a little poopy talk for you. But he knew that he had used her toilet, so he came up with a different excuse. But more than likely, it was his nerves, because this was more than he normally did. And what is suspected of happening was he had broken into the house, and Meredith came home, or he broke into the house and got an upset stomach, and he was in the bathroom. He wasn't going to be able to flush the toilet because she would know he was in there. She came home while he was doing that. And so he didn't flush the toilet either and left that evidence in the bathroom that had, yeah, so. Oh, I'm sorry. So he wasn't able to get out of the house. So all this evidence just speaks louder than his story. So just shy of 1 year of her murder, He is found guilty by the judge and sentenced to 30 years in prison. Of course, he appeals it. The court's not having it. They uphold the verdict. But at the same time, they reduced his sentence to 16 years. Okay? A shitty situation, yeah. So, suspecting that they did reduce his sentence to begin with because he's young, not because he was actually admitting to the crime and being remorseful. I don't know, because he never admits to any involvement in her death. He's always said he was innocent. In a 2016, Rudy was released from prison. So, most people have not heard this side, this story, because it was all overshadowed by another story. Okay? Yeah, Rudy. That was overshadowed by another woman who was ensnared tabloid media. Um, uh-huh. Um, so now we're going to talk about Amanda Knox. The reason that we didn't hear anything about Rudy, because Amanda Knox was, her story was all over the tabloids, the news, the everything, okay? Okay, honey. What, Rudy, what? Rudy, Rudy. Oh, that, no, let's not. Um, um, so we know Amanda Knox was sitting in prison serving time when all this evidence right here was pointing right towards Rudy. So in 2015, Amanda was declared innocent. Okay? Not just not guilty, but innocent due to all of the flaws and screw ups from the whole investigation. And even though Meredith's real killer was identified, tried, and convicted and served time, somehow it's always Amanda's name that is always tied in with the Meredith Kercher. It's Amanda Knox. Anytime that I bet none of y'all have ever seen this picture that I have up here on the screen, have you? But most of y'all are quite familiar with the Amanda Knox stories. Yeah. And then even when Amanda Knox was released, there were still so many people who questioned it. Anybody here still that's still questioned. Yeah. Hmm. Her name was more associated with the case than the actual guilty person, right? Like the person that all the evidence pointed right to. This poor girl, Meredith, this beautiful woman right here on our screen, had been raped and murdered. And there was DNA evidence left in her, around her. There was fingerprints on the pillow underneath her, on the wall beside her, on her purse. There was a barefoot footprint in her bathroom. I mean, this Rudy guy left his mark all over that room. There was no denying who it was. Yet Amanda Knox sat in that prison, and her name was the only name any of us heard about or read about during all of that. It was a witch hunt from the beginning. And once somebody once somebody accuses you of something, oops, sorry, we got it wrong. Oops, our bad. We were wrong. My mistake. That can't always fix it, huh? Because even though she was declared innocent, the courts declared her innocent and said, "We messed up. Our investigators messed up. They got it all wrong. She's innocent. She can walk free." Um, she still has that scarlet letter on her chest. So, yeah, anytime this case is brought up, it's her name. But not many people actually knew the name Meredith Kercher or even ever heard the name Rudy Greer. Greer, Guire, Greer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, that's that's pretty much what I've got for that. I had these other pictures and for some reason they don't want to flip over. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on, let me see if I can get this to. She was a beautiful. Here we go. Oh, okay, let me do this. I can do it this way. Um, mm-hmm. Who for Rudy? Um, Meredith. There we go. Here's another one. We need to, where are they now? Okay. Well, I mean, Amanda's. I saw something about Amanda not too long ago, but that's Meredith. Yeah. So sad. Such a beautiful life just snuffed out for absolutely no reason. Um, I haven't looked more into Rudy. I know. I mean, I've seen some of the some other stories about that. Well, some interviews of Amanda's the last several years, but oh, Nessie, thank you. Sorry, I didn't have my stuff together as good as I wanted to. Um, Hopefully, we'll get better with time. I'll get better at this. I promise y'all. Okay, guys. Well, I guess that's it for this one. Do y'all want to hop over to the other channel for just a little bit? Rudy probably is high. Heck, I'll look into that. Okay. I just wrote that down. We'll see if I can figure something out. Must have had a reason. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Rudy broke into their apartment and was in the process of trying to steal from them because he was a known petty thief in the area. Got an upset tummy during gathering his stuff up, and while he was in on the pooper, Meredith came home. And when he came out of the bathroom, she caught him. That's pretty much all there is to it. And he just went a little too far. And instead of just trying to sneak out, I guess he freaked out. So, okay. Yep, I'll definitely see what I can do. You know, he left all that DNA, the poop in the potty. He obviously raped her. He left his fingerprints and handprints in her blood all over the room. Footprints in her bathroom in her blood. And he had just met her that month. That month they had met at her neighbors, the people that lived in the apartment below her. Apparently were people that he knew. And I guess she would hang out down there in the apartment below her, and they would smoke a little something, you know. And I guess he was over there one night smoking a little something with them when she was there. And that's the only interaction that they had had before that night. So I'm guessing by being over at those people's house doing that, he learned that these girls were above him, and decided to break into their house. Yeah, 2 other people. Our email is scrolling in the purple banner on the screen below her picture. If anybody has any other cases, Nessie has sent a few that I'm looking into. Well, the thing is that Amanda and Rudy and another person, all 3 were tried at the same time. But like I said, over there, like here in the States, you're innocent until proven guilty. So you get to bond out usually or whatever. But over there, they can hold you for up to 8 years while they figure out what they're going to do, if they're going to charge you or not. So, yeah, I mean, they held her while they tried to figure everything out. Crazy, huh? Crazy stuff. Yeah. Yeah, separate trials. They tried him and found him guilty, and then they declared her innocent. finally, but not, not before she was 8 years, 7, 8 years. I mean, they held her for almost 8 years before they declared her innocent. But they did. He was tried. He had his own trial, and he was found guilty. He tried to appeal that, and they was like, nope. He was originally sentenced to 30 years, and then he got that reduced to 16 years. And he was released in 2016. He was 20 years old when that happened. Meredith was 21 years old when she was murdered. Yeah, she had to sit in jail that whole 7 years while she waited for them to figure out how they were going to do it. It is so backwards, right? Um, mm-mm. Exactly, 16 years for life. Crazy. And for just no reason, like, just blows my mind. All right, well, um, I'm gonna wrap this up here. Do you guys want to hop over to the other side, or see you tomorrow? School has been called out for tomorrow here. Our storm is here. Let me know what y'all would like to do. Would y'all like to hang out for a little bit with my funeral home music? Whatever is clever. I don't know about clever. Stormy says yes. Nessie says hop. All right. Give me about 5 minutes. I'm going to go check on these babies. Go tinkle myself. And I will see y'all over there, okay? Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Yeah, I'm trying to be good on this one. We need to get us some more likes over here. All right. I'll see y'all in a few minutes. Thank you. Of course. All right. Well, let's get over there then. See y'all over there.